Hey, what's going on, Guardians? TBL here, coming back at you guys on a Saturday evening to talk to you a bit about some Destiny 2 news concerning Forsaken. We've got a bit more information about how the new Solar Warlock class is going to be playing. Going to be talking a bit about some of the abilities tied to that class, as well as some incoming news about PlayStation exclusive content in Destiny 2. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, we learn a bit more about the incoming Dawnblade attunement from Reddit user I420 Booty Wizard. Legendary name for a legendary guardian. He kind of compiled a bunch of different information and a bunch of different video clips showing off some aspects of the new subclass. Or rather, new subclass tree. So big thanks to him for gathering a lot of this information together. Now let's take a look. First up, the new Warlock Melee ability is going to have a rather interesting perk tied to it. The charged melee hit will grant you the Empowered buff. And this is going to behave basically exactly like the buff that you get for the Empowering Rift, but with a 4-second overall duration. So when you get a melee hit while your melee is charged, you're going to be dealing more damage with weapons to enemies. As you can see in the video clip here, the Warlock jumps forward, lands a charged melee against the Centurion, and gets the Empowered buff. Now what's interesting here is that the Empowered buff actually doesn't increase melee damage. It increases weapon damage, but not melee, so you're going to have to fall back and use your guns there. But it does burn the targets, which will cause a short period of dot damage to be applied to the target. But overall, it's not bad. Being able to have that extra empowering buff kind of sitting in your pocket that activates on a charged melee hit, that's not too bad of an ability at all. I can certainly see a lot of utility for that. Now, let's move on to the grenade. There's been a lot of fanfare in the community about the possibility of a healing grenade within Destiny 2, and we finally got one with this new Dawnblade subtree. With this new attunement, you'll be able to hold and charge your grenade just like the attunement of Chaos Voidwalkers can, but it doesn't cost you any super energy. And once fully charged and thrown, your grenade will create a sphere of light that will stay for about 4 seconds. And you or any ally that's near this sphere of light will get an instant overshield and regenerate your health, which will be indicated by the new Candescent Grace buff. So as you can see here, the Warlock charges it up, and when you toss it on the ground, the sphere of light rises forward and it lasts for about 7 to maybe 8 seconds. Meaning that in addition to a Warlock's Rift now, you can also have even more mobile healing on the spot. Say you're in a tough spot, not much cover in the middle of a Nightfall boss fight against Brachion, you can just kind of charge up that grenade, toss it down, boom, everyone's got an extra overshield and some instant health regeneration. There's absolutely tons of utility there. Next, this subtree gets a new buff called Hearth Keeper, which will activate when an ally receives the Grace Overshield and then steps into your Rift, or is nearby when you hit something with a charged melee. This buff causes your grenade, melee, and Rift cooldowns to recharge rapidly, and will last for about 5 seconds overall. And you can see it there in the same clip with the Warlock charging and throwing the grenade. You'll notice when the ally walks into the sphere of light, you get the Hearth Keeper perk and your grenade instantly starts recharging even faster. I really like this. It gives you even more incentive to help your teammates out. Play that role of the medic. When you see somebody in danger, charge up that grenade, toss it back on them, and you'll start getting your other cooldowns back even faster. It's a great way to lean into the overall theme of the subclass. And the effect also looks pretty pronounced. We see it in a melee clip here, where you actually get more than half of your bar charge back by the time the Hearth Keeper perk goes away. So it's looking like this is going to be overall a very powerful option for keeping your cooldowns in check. Since there's virtually never going to be a time in which your teammates aren't going to need healing, you're always going to be utilizing this ability, healing your teammates while also giving yourself back your melee, your rift, and even your grenade energy. If a double grenade exotic like the Starfire Protocols with the fusion grenades works with this, or even better yet, the Claws of Ahamkara, you should then have more than enough ability charges to utilize the Hearth Keeper perk whenever you want, virtually granting you 100% uptime for some of your abilities. There's so many exciting combinations to use here. And that's not even to mention this class's awesome new super, the Well of Radiance. Now, we actually got to talk about this on a previous video and see a little bit of gameplay from it in that Bungie Vidoc we got showing off Forsaken. But now we get an even better look at this incoming super. The Well of Radiance basically grants you a mega rift. You'll create a burst of flame after shoving your sword into the ground, which damages and knocks back enemies, but it also grants you a list of buffs. Standing in the well will grant you and your allies health recovery, an overshield, and 30% increased weapon damage. Meaning you get the effects of Healing Rift and Empowering Rift, while also getting a giant rift that damages enemies who stand too close to it. And this is pretty awesome. You'll notice here in this clip that the health regeneration is actually faster than the normal rifts that you can have on other Warlock subclasses. And it generally spawns at least 2 orbs of light on the initial cast. Now overall, I have to say this is an incredible new utility super. The ability to heal yourself and your allies while also granting yourself an overshield to mitigate incoming damage even further, plus a 30% increase to your overall outgoing damage. Could you imagine mixing something like this with the Lunafaction boots? The Well of Radiance is going to be such an asset for fire teams moving forward that I really cannot wait to get my hands on it just so I can exclusively run Healer Warlock. I think it looks great. The greater focus on utility, the ability to heal your allies virtually on tap, while also granting a buff to yourself to allow you to get your melee, your rift, and your grenade back even faster. This class looks like it's going to have absolutely fantastic neutral game, especially for PvE. And while the super itself definitely doesn't put out a lot of damage to enemies, I think the trade-off for utility there is well worth the price of admission. And I know I can't wait to get my hands on this class in September. But alright, that's it for that bit of news. The other thing I wanted to talk about in this video is the fact that we've gotten some information about PlayStation exclusive content in Forsaken. Now, this information is coming directly from the Activision blog. They finally posted some information about Forsaken and talked a bit about what content is going to be coming exclusively to PlayStation first, and what's going to be happening to some of the previous PlayStation exclusive content when Forsaken comes out. This is kind of a good news, bad news situation, so I'm just going to read what they have to say verbatim. Forsaken players on PlayStation will receive 4 timed exclusive items: a strike, 1 gear set per class, a new jump ship, and an exotic weapon. When Forsaken launches, all previous Destiny 2 exclusives will be released on all platforms. So there we go. The short of it is basically there's going to be more PlayStation exclusive content coming, which really shouldn't come as a surprise. It's still not good. I'm never a fan of any console-based exclusivity when it comes to in-game content. I think Destiny's had that for way too long. But there will be the usual: a PlayStation exclusive strike, 1 set of legendary gear that you'll only be able to get on PlayStation, a new jump ship, and an exotic weapon. Now, these are timed exclusives, so they will eventually be made available for everyone. Now, of course, what's interesting there is the exotic weapon. It looks like we might have another Hawkmoon situation on our hands. And I don't actually believe they've revealed what exactly that exotic weapon is going to be. It's important to not get this PlayStation exclusive stuff mixed in with some of the other pre-order bonuses that are going to be coming with Forsaken. Remember, anyone who pre-orders Forsaken is going to be getting Cade's exotic stash, which includes the Last Hand exotic ornament for the Ace of Spades, the Queen of Hearts exotic ship, the Standoff exotic emote, and the Shades of Cade 6 armor shaders. That's going to go to anybody who pre-orders the incoming DLC. And if you happen to get the Digital Deluxe Edition, well, that's when you get the extra Awoken set, which includes the Legendary Bow Ornament, the Dirge Paladin Emblem, and the Vestian Ghost Shell. So whatever this PlayStation exclusive stuff is, it's separate from all of this. And honestly, like I said before, isn't that much of a surprise. Bungie's been doing this basically with every big expansion release since Destiny came out. I still don't like it though. I'm not a fan of punishing players by withholding content from them because they bought the game on the wrong platform. Always leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But now for the good news. All of the previous PlayStation exclusive content is now making its way into the game for every player of Destiny 2. This includes a legendary armor set, the Lake of Shadows strike, the Borealis exotic sniper rifle, the City Apex legendary ship, 2 Crucible maps in Wormhaven and Retribution, and finally, of course, the new strike introduced during Warmind, the Insight Terminus. All of that content is being added into the game for all non-PlayStation players when Forsaken goes live. But alright Guardians, there we go. That is it for everything I wanted to cover in this video. I think the new Warlock subtree looks great, and I'm very happy to hear about some of that PlayStation exclusive content finally making its way into the game for non-PlayStation platforms. Although I'm still not a fan at all of the console-based exclusivity. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But alright, I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.